We got problems right now. I was just gaming and our batteries were beeping in the basement. They got down to 26%. They're never supposed to get lower than 50%. I have no idea what's going on or what happened. I checked the extension cord and there's power out there. Something's going on with my inverters. Something weird is happening. I should not be that low. I'm so scared right now. So it's been a couple of days since we got our batteries recharged. Remember our last video, everything drained down to like 26% and we were kind of in an emergency. Well, it was negative 14 outside. All that weather is gone now. It's beautiful. It's 50 degrees. And so we can leave ourselves completely unplugged from power for a couple hours while I check the batteries and then run a load test on them. But what that entails is actually killing all of the 120 volt power and all of the 24 volt power to the RV. So after I do this, we're only going to be running off of the 12 volt coach batteries for a couple hours. So let's get started. We're just going to test all of our batteries technically. We're going to be testing our 12 volt batteries. I'm testing the fridge battery today. I'm testing these batteries into the bed. We're just going to see what the health is of everything. Start by just turning these two inverters off. Here is the accessory inverter. This is the inverter that runs our air conditioner as well as all of the heaters in the basement. I'm just going to go ahead and hit that switch. It's going to turn everything off down there. There was a couple of lights running. This is the big switch. So when I flip this switch, we're going to lose 120 volt power. Just like that. There it goes. Work our way over here. So main power for the switch. Basically, as soon as I do this, we're completely off now. So there's no power going to any of the inverters. We're completely safe to start working on the system. Yeah, so right now we're about 26.9 volts and it is dropping. So now, unfortunately, we just gotta hurry up and wait. I'm gonna tighten all the battery connections before I turn it on. And then in an hour, we'll come back and I'll show you what the battery voltage is. Got warm in here quick. I love this weather change, but when you're in the sun in an RV like this, man, it just heats up. We're gonna lift our bed up. Those of you guys have been following us for a while know about our boondocking battery project. What do you guys keep underneath your RV mattress? Is it 8 12 volt batteries and a bunch of cables? It's 14 now. If you guys are getting underneath the bed, we have like a mattress topper. It's really heavy. You should probably definitely take that off, or at least have trusting struts, I guess. I'm using a vice grips and I'm just going to be very careful. I'm a professional. Don't do what I do. Here's our boondocking battery. Let's get some light back there. And here we have 4 Mighty Max batteries. They're 12 volt, 125 amp hours each. Because they are lead acid, it's a sealed lead acid battery. You don't get all of those amp hours. You only get about half of the amp hours. Realistically, we have 500 amp hours, and out of those 500, we have about 250 usable amp hours. I'm worried that we did damage to these batteries. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make sure that all of these are tight, because you can tell we kind of ran a little short on cable, and I did cut some corners. I didn't run these cables as long as they should have been to where none of them were hanging like this. And there's a lot of power that runs through here. I'm gonna tighten this, and as I tighten this, I'm gonna kind of tell you guys a little bit about why I built this system this way and give you guys maybe some recommendations if any of you guys are looking to build your own system or want to build your own system. Maybe some of this can help you guys kind of determine what you're doing. Start by just going in here. I'm gonna check all these connections. We live in an RV. This RV moves around a lot during the year, and in that movement, you can loosen all these. You can, damage cable. So it's good to at least every 6 months, at the very minimum, come in here and just give everything a really good visual inspection. Okay. This should all be tight. I don't foresee me finding anything really loose in here. I'll check at the shunt. Okay, so we got 2 more right here. That's all tight. So this is live. So from here all the way to there is very live. So here's where I got to be careful. And right there, I just shocked myself.
Dude.
Just being too close.
That off. I don't know. Something.
Yeah,
I
I'm
feel...
actually gonna take that off. I just got too close with my arm to this negative while I was on here, and I was showing Audrey that this is the only live thing around and I need to be careful. I had a copper bracelet. I also took that off. I should have had that off the whole time. Again, don't do what I'm doing. I'm just showing you how our system works. I'm crazy enough to do all this by myself, but you should have a trained professional in here doing all this. Yeah, that tickled. I have these 2 that I gotta check, and I have these 2 I gotta check, and then I have all the battery connections. And here's where we want to be very, very careful, because these are very live. So we want to just make darn sure that this wrench isn't gonna ground out against anything. There we go. That's all tight. Okay. I built this differently than a lot of other people build them. You'll see a lot of people on YouTube, they have the money to just go lithium ion. They don't mess with these sealed lead acid batteries. You'll see a lot of people buy their solar equipment before they buy their battery. And what I have noticed in all the YouTube videos I've watched about solar energy and off-grid living and RV life.
Hey, want to help us out? Subscribe to our channel. It's totally free and it would really bring us joy. Then click the bell notification so you know when we have a new video up. Thanks.
Is that everyone buys solar panels, but they don't have adequate storage to put that energy into. And solar panels are really great. I think that that's the future for us. And I think that the way I built my system, when we finally do get solar panels, we really are going to be completely energy dependent. But I see a lot of people out there that will invest in like 100 watt, 200 watt panels. They'll have like one 12 volt battery to charge it off of. I think they figure out really quick that it doesn't really run much. I also see a lot of people that try and run air conditioners off of a 12 volt system, and that is so dangerous. I know this is a home built battery and you're kind of looking at me like I'm the idiot, and that's fine, but the reason that I went with 24 volts is because I wanted to be able to run air conditioners, I wanted to be able to run heaters, I wanted to be able to run a lot of high current household items and not have to worry about the current that's coming through these cables. You'll also notice that I went kind of a little bit overkill on these cables. These are double aught cables. Another mistake that I see a lot of people doing is that they get these inverters that are made in China, these 3000 watt 12 volt inverters, and they have these battery cables that come with the kits that are about as thick as my pinky, and I see people using those on their rig to power things like air conditioners and other high appliance items, and you're literally just begging for a fire when you do that. Imagine trying to take a fire hose amount of water and now try and run that through a garden hose or something smaller than a garden hose. Imagine how much heat that's going to cause. Imagine how much swelling that would cause. Imagine a hose bursting, and when a hose bursts in an electrical wire, you're talking about a fire. When a hose swells in the electrical world, you're talking about a lot of heat, and people that try and run appliances off of 12 volts are making an excessive amount of heat. If I could have afforded it, I would have built a 48 volt system. The only reason I built this 24 volt system is because for the budget that we had, I knew that this is what I could afford. And if I'd have went with a 48 volt system, I wouldn't have had to run cable this big either. I could have probably gotten away with 2 gauge or just single aught cable. I know that with this 24 volt system and these battery cables, I can run all of our power needs, and I'm never gonna get one of these cables too hot. I also have 3 fuses on this whole system. So if anything gets out of control, if anything gets too hot, one of these fuses are gonna blow way before anything in my system gets damaged. I'm gonna hop in here, I'm gonna do some contorting, and we're just gonna check all of the connections on this battery. So the other reason that I like coming in here is I also like checking for any kind of visual signs of heat. I want to check these straps to make sure they're still tight and holding these batteries down just fine. These batteries are wired in series parallel. Every 2 are wired together to make 24 volt. And then the 4 banks of 2 are wired together to give me the 500 amps. Just right there. I found a little bit of a loose one. Wasn't like very loose. The thing is anytime you got any kind of a loose point in here, you're making excess current, you know. Yep, there's another loose one. And another loose one. So just like that, I had a little bit of a loose connection on the batteries. Just want to go in here and give everything a shake just to make sure everything is tight. There's no swelling on the batteries. Make sure they're dealing with the heat adequately. Check all of my mounts in here. Okay.
This whole thing makes me so nervous.
We're good. These batteries look really good in here. I can slowly try and make my way the heck out of here. These don't bend like that. But look at me. I'm a real boy. There was a couple of things on the battery that were loose, so I'm glad I came in there and checked them. Again, anytime you have anything loose, it's an opportunity to create more heat. Anytime you create heat, you're adding risk into your system. Every time we drive this thing is like a mini earthquake. Things are going to loosen over time. So those batteries seem to be okay for now. The nice thing about this is that the whole system is upgradable to lithium ion. Like all of the inverters that we got, all of this, everything is compatible with lithium. So when we get the money to upgrade, we'll just be able to take these lead acids out of here, put lithiums in there, and we'll be able to run those. These have been really good to us, so I'm really hoping that they're not damaged. We're gonna cross our fingers, and I think because we don't store them in the cold and they do stay nice and warm, and we've never brought them down that low, I think we'll get one of these. You can't keep pulling one of these out and still keep getting lucky. So. This is a voltage, the positive and negative covers to the big boy inverter. So this inverter is the inverter that runs the whole show. The 24 volt Sun Gold pure sine wave inverter charger. So it's got a 40 amp battery charger on board. I basically run all of the RV's electricity through this, and this makes it so that if we ever lose shore power for whatever reason, there's no interruption. It just switches over to the 24 volt batteries. We always have electricity in here for boondocking, for mooch docking, you know, if we're ever in here and it's really cold at night and for whatever reason the power gets disconnected or we blow a breaker, which has happened before. See the link for the video up above. Nice and tight. Also, this can turn a generator on and off if the batteries get too low, which is a function I wish I had for earlier this week when the batteries did get too low. That would have been nice to have connected. You can see this remote wire goes all the way up to the side of the bed where we can control this and turn it on and off. This is kind of the backbone and the most important part of our whole system, which is why it was troublesome the other day when it wasn't charging, and I think that was more on me than it was this inverter. Whenever I make a change, whenever I do anything, I always check the app to see where I'm at, and I didn't do it this time when I was messing with the generator, and I paid the price for it. Always check your gauges. Let me put this down so I can get it screwed back together, and we'll check the negative, and then we'll go on to check all of our grounds in here.
Give it to me then. Good catch, Belle. Look at this cute dog.
That's good and tight. Oh god. Pay no mind to the sewer hose. I'm about to butt heads with. It's definitely mostly clean. Okay. You can see when I'm recording. So here is my ground for the whole system right here. Right there is my grounding bar. So that's where all my negative connections are made for the system. On that. Let's find out a socket for that and get that tight. Oh, can you guys feel my pain yet? No big deal. Oh no. Hey Audrey, yep. I need a 14 mil wrench. Okay. Get a little bit of a turn out of that. Whew. This is so much fun, guys. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So necessary though. They all took a little bit of a turn, so they needed to be checked. I'm glad I got under here. All right, now I'm gonna go over to the other side and we're gonna look at the back of that inverter and tighten those ones down. That's not a fun place to be. You don't want to walk on the ice because it's so slippery, but you also don't want to walk in the mud because you'll miss the sink. You guys have seen me in here a lot in recent videos. That's because this is the inverter that runs the heater and the light and even a dehumidifier that we have down here in the summertime. I wanted to build this system so that running our air conditioner, running everything down here in the basement didn't take away from the usable power that we have to live off of. Because we stay plugged into 20 amps, we always only have a limited amount of current that we can use. If we're in a place where I don't have enough current to run my air conditioner, I can use the current to charge the batteries back up after I shut the air conditioner off. So this is able to run the air conditioner and everything here in the basement separately from our microwave, from our TV, from all of our heaters upstairs. That's really nice. So it's combined total, we have about 6,000 usable watts of power on this RV. Well, by building the system this way, now instead of just getting the simple 100 watt panels, I can go out and look for like 400 or 500 watt panels. I don't need as many panels, and also our end goal is to be able to run our air conditioner using the power of the sun. When I get this system all complete, it'll be able to do just about everything. So I have a lot of flexibility in here. I have a lot of maneuverability in here, and it's got a lot of backup systems. I have 3 separate systems all running in tandem, and like right now, you hear the AC fan is actually on, cooling down the inside of the RV, and that's actually running off of the 12 volt coach battery. After I get done with this, I'm gonna unplug us from shore power because we'll be almost ready to plug back in and do a battery test. So here's the secondary 24 volt inverter that we have. This is another 3000 watt inverter. This one isn't as fancy as the other one. This one only is an inverter. Doesn't have any charging features on it. It can't do anything special. I have the power disconnected down here, so I feel pretty safe. I can't even see how much of this I'm recording right now. I got my face pressed into it. There it is. So that's what I'm actually trying to get at and tighten this. I'll see you guys on the other side of that. It's almost been an hour, and we're just about ready for a battery test. Make sure that we're unplugged from shore power. We're going to be running on batteries for an hour. I'm going to put about 1,000 to 1,500 watt load on the whole system, and we're going to let it run for an hour. And after an hour, I'm going to see where the batteries are at, and based on that, I'll know if we get any damage.
What do you think, Bill?
I'm having some trouble getting my air conditioner to connect to Wi-Fi. I was trying to get us up to 1,500 watts. Right now we're pulling about 485 watts, and they're not near as much as I wanted to. About 18 amps. We've used 26.5 amp hours. Our battery is at 12.83, and if you do that math, it means that each battery is at 12.9 volts after the last hour. Fully charged up, they are at 12.8. So we didn't do any damage to our batteries. Our batteries are just fine.
Okay.
All of that just to say we're okay. We're
Okay.
fine. We're fine.
Good.
The plug is in right now. We're gonna let the batteries charge up. We're gonna try and calm ourselves down because I'm really annoyed about the air conditioner not connecting to Wi-Fi. And it's wet, and I don't need the air conditioning now, but we're gonna need it. And yeah, just one more thing for me to have to work on. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you like this content, if you have any questions about how our system runs or why we did things the way we did, feel free to like, comment below, let us know what you think. We are a growing YouTube channel. We do appreciate all the support you're gonna give us. Feel free to follow us, to subscribe to us, to enjoy us. We put out videos twice a week, and we're not going anywhere. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys again on Sunday.